Raymond Ibrahim joins us now. He's the author of Crucified Again, Exposing Islam's New War on Christians. Great to have you back on the broadcast.
Hi, George.
ISIS, who are they? What are their ultimate goals? Help our viewers understand what's going on with this group.
Their ultimate goal is the ultimate goal of all the Islamic radical jihadists, from Al-Qaeda to even the Muslim Brotherhood, which is the resurrection of a caliphate and the enforcement of Islamic Sharia law.
Now, let me talk to you about this, because we have on CBN News and across our platforms, we have been talking about this for a number of years. And it was in some ways like a pipe dream. I mean, this is impossible to resurrect the Ottoman Empire, the Caliphate. You know, but now it seems more like a reality. They've got half of Iraq, a good swath of Syria.
Right.
Is it possible today?
It is possible. It'll take time.
Yeah.
You know, the Taliban in Afghanistan had the same aspirations, and other organizations, wherever there's a vacuum, an Islamist or jihadists go in. That's the new emirate, the Islamic Emirate, which they hope will eventually grow and grow and grow. So yes, it is a realistic possibility, but it will take time. And
for them, they have a long view of history, obviously.
Not like us.
Right. And explain to us, what is a caliphate?
The caliphate is... historically, after the Islamic prophet Muhammad died, it became the government, the Islamic polity, which, of course, is the fundamental reason why Islam is different than the West, because in the caliphate, religion and state are one and the same. Islamic law is what legitimizes the rule of an Islamic ruler. And the caliphate's primary business is to expand territory and bring infidels under its authority, and that's what it did historically.
And when you look at what's taking place today in Mosul, in northern Iraq, when they came into town, just this week we've been seeing pictures of ISIS soldiers on the streets of Mosul handing out Quran to folks who are driving on the streets. Can you give our viewers an understanding of what does Sharia law look today for the residents of Mosul and all these different cities that they have captured?
Well, I'll give you the best example is the Pact of Omar, or the Conditions of Omar, which is an old Islamic teaching, which is what justifies, as you may know it, dhimmitude, which is basically keeping Christians and non-Muslims suppressed. And so ISIS is now in these regions forcing Christians to live according to this 14th-century-old pact, in which it includes things like do not build churches, you can't renovate churches, you have to wait until they crumble, you can't show your crosses, you can't talk about your religion.
You have to pay a tax.
You have to pay a tribute, jizya, monetary tax, and you're basically a third-class citizen. And now they are enforcing this, and we're reliving history of 1400 centuries, 1400 years.
Can we talk about the influence of foreign jihadis? There is a big concern amongst Western intelligence agencies, from Great Britain to Germany, France, the United States, that there are a huge number of foreign fighters on the battlefield in Iraq and Syria, and the concern is that these folks will come back to the Western world, come back to the United States. Are you concerned about this?
I am, and the thing is, we have absolutely perfect precedent. If you go back to Al-Qaeda, Afghanistan, most of those fighters, they were not even Afghani. They were Arabs coming from all around the world, because this is the jihad theater. We're going to go, we're going to conquer, we're going to build up a new emirate. And we saw how that ended up with 9/11. And so in Syria, it's the same thing. You got Saudis, you have Westerners, you have Australians, you have Chechens, and they're all there. And again, you know, that sheds light on the nature of this so-called rebellion. This isn't Syrians fighting for freedom. This is jihadis out to conquer land for themselves.
And for them, the more diverse the group is, the more appealing it becomes to young, impressionable Muslims out there around the world.
And meanwhile, the average Syrian, who supposedly this is in their name, is ostracized, sidelined, and now you can understand why so many of them are supportive of Assad, who's the better alternative.
What should the United States, I mean, the U.S., the White House is in such a predicament. Because on one hand, they supported elements of ISIS in Syria against the Assad regime. Now we have this chaos in Iraq, the potential fall of the al-Maliki government. What should the United States do? Can it do anything, or should it just sit back and watch them slaughter each other?
Well, it should at least sit back and reassess, because up until now, in my opinion, all the groups that the United States has been supporting have not been the groups that we should be, from the Muslim Brotherhood, from the so-called rebels in Syria, and all these, and the Al-Qaeda-linked guys who were in Libya, who ousted Muammar Gaddafi. So we need to at least take a break back and really reassess the situation and try to figure out who are the good guys and who are the bad guys, and actually, why don't we support the good guys?
And unfortunately, the good guys, in many cases, the Christians, they are caught in the crossfire, aren't they?
Always. They're in the crossfire. they're damned if they do, they're damned if they don't. They're infidels, they're minorities, they're outnumbered, they're ostracized, they have no weapons, and so they're the easiest and quickest targets.
And obviously the big concern, last few seconds, the Christians in Mosul and the biblical cities of Nineveh and so forth, they're going to Kurdistan, they're trying to get out of the region, yeah?
Ironically, in Iraq, after the war, and more than half of the Iraqi indigenous Christian population fled, many of them to Syria. Now, they and the Syrian Christians are trying to flee out of Syria because the same pattern has come to them, and they're running out of places to go.
Yeah, unbelievable. Raymond, as always, thank you so much. The book, again, is called Crucified, again, exposing Islam's new war on Christians. As always, sir, thank you for being on the broadcast. Awesome. Good stuff.
Thank you.